Welcome, Crazy Kerri, Gentle Reset Yoga, typical Sunday. And we're going to start today on our back, so gently lowering ourselves down one vertebrae at a time. And feeling free to allow the arms to fall at our sides. Palms facing up to the sky. And we'll take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Two more. And again, filling the lungs with air and sighing it out, noticing the muscles in our faces relax and soften. And now allowing our bodies to assume the natural rhythm of breath. Noticing the rising and falling sensation of the lungs and the abdomen. Perhaps even bringing our hands to our belly if that's comforting for you. Going through a body scan from head to toe. Just getting a sense of the mood of our body, tuning into it. Noticing every part of the body along the way, not getting stuck anywhere. Just noting any sensations or vibrations we may have. All the way through the arms into the fingertips. Front and back of the body. Down through the legs and into the toes. Perhaps we wish to set an intention for today's practice. This may be the reason you came to the mat today. Something that motivated you to join in to our community and our practice. Taking a moment right at the beginning to congratulate ourselves for getting to the mat and for making this time for ourselves and our practice. And as usual, we inhale curiosity and a sense of exploration. And as we exhale competition, expectation, and judgment. Once again, being sure to honor the state of our bodies in this moment. Drawing our legs up to 90 degrees, firmly planting the feet on the mat, grounding through the feet. We'll go ahead and draw our knees into the chest slowly, giving them a big hug, wrapping our arms around the outside of our legs or behind the thighs, whichever feels most comfortable. You're welcome to rock side to side. Maybe noticing what might be happening in the lower back and the hips. And the goal of today's practice is to release energy, any blocked energy we may be holding on to in parts of our body, perhaps we don't even know about. We're going to explore today the sensations and be gentle so as not to create stress in our bodies that doesn't translate into our minds. Right. And let's separate the knees slightly, and we're going to just shift the knees in circles, going in opposite directions, making some hip circles here as small or as big as your body will allow, warming into the hips, the joints, the ligaments, the tendons. Not worrying about what we look like, just flowing. One more time, and then we'll shift directions. Both legs going in opposite directions. One more time. And bringing both knees back into the chest, and let's circle them around together. So you may even feel your lower backs lift off the mat, circling, pressing the knees into the chest and then away, gaining a tiny bit of momentum as we warm into the hip joints. Adding a little massage to the lower back. And when you're ready, go ahead and switch directions. Good, and we'll come to a still position, extending the legs over top of our hips and our arms over top of our shoulders. Go ahead and wiggle the feet and the wrists. And going the other direction. Creating new patterns. And connecting the wires of our brains to our breath and our joints. Now pointing and flexing forward and back. Creating new patterns, noticing any quiet zones in our bodies where there may be disconnect, and exploring what it might take to bring connection to each of those parts. So now with the right side, the right foot and the right wrist are going to circle outwards, and the left side is going to circle the opposite direction. Here we go, creating new neural pathways. Whee! And let's switch directions, so now both are coming inwards. Oh, great. Bring the knees back into the chest, give them a nice big hug. Oh, excellent. Let's draw the knees out towards the armpits a little bit wider. Resetting. And let's roll forward and back, forward and back, perhaps gaining a little momentum, coming up onto the sacrum, coming up onto the sit bones. Good. So today we're exploring new patterns. We're going to explore how we're going to get onto our feet and into mountain pose. So I welcome you to find your way to mountain pose. However it suits you today. Perhaps you have a little momentum. Meet me here in mountain. Good. A little fun. We're not bouncing today, so I thought we'd do something else fun. Finding our feet firmly planted underneath our hips. We're going to do a few asana to start. So on the inhale, we'll bring our arms all the way up over our shoulders, palms pressing together. On the exhale, we'll swan dive the arms, coming into forward fold. Inhale, halfway flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And on the inhale, all the way up, sweeping the arms, palms together, hands to heart, exhale. We'll repeat this a few times. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway flat back. Warming up the back of our body. Exhale, forward fold, sweeping the arms all the way up on the inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's do this at the speed of our breath. One more. Inhale all the way up. Palms together, hands to heart. Exhale. Taking a deep breath in between, reset. Good. Inhaling the arms up over our shoulders into our hollow holds. On the inhale, we sink the pelvis back, arching the lower back, opening the abdomen. On the exhale, we round forward. Hands are along the ears. Inhale, we open up the abdomen, lifting the chest. And exhale, we round forward. Good. Keep going to your breath. One movement, one breath. We'll do two more. Engaging the abdomen as we curl forward. Good. Hands are still above the shoulders. Reaching the right hand to the left wrist, and we'll side bend. So elongating on the inhale, reaching up, coming over to the side slightly, not to compress, but to create space between the ribs on the left side body. Checking in with the lower back. The hips are still underneath us. They're not rotating backwards. Nice long spine. Breathing deeply, noticing the ribs laterally expanding. One more breath here. And we'll bring the arms all the way back down, heart center. Taking a deep breath in between. One more time, sweeping the arms up. Grabbing onto the right wrist with the left hand, and then elongating, deep breaths in on the inhale, and then we lower over to the left, opening up the right side body. Deep breaths in, creating space between the ribs. Checking in with the breath. If it's labored, perhaps we need to ease off a little bit. Noticing what's happening with our hips, our glutes engaged, and pressing the pelvis forward. One more breath. And then we're slowly going to lower forward. So rolling ourselves all the way forward. Slowly, slowly, and then we'll come around. And like ragdolls, we're just going to allow the arms to float circularly around us. Noticing what's happening to each vertebra as we lower and lift. Perhaps gaining a little bit of speed as you go around. Again, just keeping that mindset of exploration and curiosity of what's happening in the body and where we have maybe blocked energy. Alternatively, we can keep our hands on our hips if it's just not feeling comfortable to lift our arms. Coming around and then transitioning, going into the opposite direction. Wherever you may be. As deeply as you can, listening to our bodies as we come forward, and then as we stack our vertebrae once again. Let's do two more circles. Feeling the grounding of our feet on the mat below us. And then we come back to standing. Again, stacking each vertebra one at a time. Rolling the shoulders, taking a deep breath in between. Good. Finding our way to the front of our mats. We're going to step back into a few lunge sequences. So let's bring our hands onto our hips or into prayer pose, whichever feels most comfortable. Bringing our left leg to 90 degrees. Good. Now we're going to step back into a low lunge, floating ourselves gently, tapping our left foot down, and then lowering all the way down onto our left knee, finding a cushion as needed for the left knee. Flattening the back foot, bringing our right hands onto our right thigh, or slowly going to rock forward and back. gently moving through, listening to the hip flexor of the left leg, the hamstring of the right leg. We're not forcing anything here today. Perhaps your right foot and toes start to lift off the mat. Going to your speed and depth. We'll do one more flow. And then we'll all meet up in our lunge, pressing into our left hip flexor. Tall upper body, slight back bend. Lowering with each exhalation, and as the hip flexor releases any tension. Listening to our bodies, finding a block for support as needed. Checking in with the breath. Two more breaths here. And on the exhale, we'll press ourselves up and through into the hamstring stretch. Lifting the toes off the mat, extending the right leg long, hinging at the hips with a tall upper body. Finding somewhere for our hands, maybe on our thigh, maybe a block that brings the earth a little bit closer to us. Or possibly even our hands for support, not rounding out the lower back, but elongating the spine from tailbone through to crown of the head. Visualizing that we're breathing the right hamstring and calf muscles long. Checking in with the breath. Again, we don't want to create stress in the body because we don't want it in our minds. Listening to the sensations of our bodies. And we'll press forward on the inhale. Coming back into our low lunge, this time planting the left hand on the floor, lifting our back leg off the ground and reaching back as possible. Perhaps you want to walk the foot out a little bit, or perhaps you want to hold your low lunge, or alternatively, just hold a lizard lunge. You have options here today, so choose what suits your body best. If you're interested in a quadricep stretch and needing this, then we draw the left heel into our glutes while pressing the left hand away from the mat, lifting our bodies, opening our chest to the sky. Or finding an alternative pose that suits you better. Today we're not forcing anything. You know we don't force poses to our bodies. Checking in with the breath and maybe even our faces, what's happening in our forehead and our jaws. Are we smiling? Can we come off of the left knee and open up the quadricep? Go ahead and release the left foot, and we'll press ourselves back up. The left knee comes off the mat and we step into mountain pose. Bending the knees. On the inhale, we sweep our arms all the way up. Hands to heart. Good job. Let's do a vinyasa in between, sweeping the arms up. Cactus the arms, swan diving forward. Inhale, halfway flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Sweeping up on the inhale. Hands to heart center with the right leg lifted off the mat. 90 degrees. We'll step back slowly when you're ready into our low lunge on this side. Lowering the right knee all the way down to the mat. Good job. Finding a cushion for the right knee as needed. Finding our stability first, and then we slowly press ourselves forward and back like we did on the other leg. And perhaps if we need a reminder to keep our bodies tall and our spine elongated, you are welcome to lift the arms over the shoulders, feeling and finding whatever position works best for you today. Floating forward and back, and once again exploring what's happening in the right hip flexor, the left hamstring. Maybe even lifting the left toes off the mat. We'll do one more flow. And then we'll meet up in our lunge and work on opening the hip flexor of the right leg, flattening the right foot behind us, slowly lowering ourselves down with each exhalation, trying to keep our hips square and forward facing. Pressing our palms away from the left thigh, finding a block for stability as we need. Slightly arching the lower back, lifting the chests, and ensuring a steady rhythm of breath. Two more breaths here. Pressing the knee, the shin, and the foot into the mat. Really elongating the hip flexor. Deep breaths in, and on the exhale we press back, hamstring, lifting our left toes off the mat, extending our left leg long, hinging at the hips, finding a block as needed for support and stability, or directly bringing our hands down onto the mat. Elongating, bringing the chest through the shoulders. And again, let's check in with the muscles in our face. Are we holding our tension in our jaw? Or can we smile as we breathe easy? Two more breaths. And on the next inhale, we come back into our lunge. Options here to come into lizard lunge on our forearms or our arms, or to lift the back foot on the right leg and reach all the way back, grabbing onto the foot, drawing the heel in, rolling off the knee. Options. Find a pose that suits us here, lifting the chest, pressing ourselves away from the mat, gentle spinal twist. Checking in with the breath. One more breath here. And we'll go ahead and release the right hand or press ourselves back into a high lunge, lifting the knee off the mat and bringing our feet back together in mountain pose, vinyasa, in between. Inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, swooping up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, halfway flat back. Exhale, forward fold, sweeping our arms up in the inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll do one more. Going to the flow of our own breath. Well done. Keeping our hands at heart center. Deep breaths in, reset. Good. And with our left leg once again, we're slightly at the top of our mats. Grabbing a sip of water if you so desire. You're okay. All right, at the top of our mats once again, bringing our left leg off the mat again, 90 degrees. We're stepping this time into a high lunge, crescent lunge on the balls of our left foot. There we go. Walking the right foot out as needed. Crescent lunge, holding here, drawing the thigh muscles towards one another, stacking the arms if that feels comfortable, or bringing them around the body to the hips. Lifting the knee as we engage the quadricep of the left leg, pressing the left leg away, while also drawing the inner thighs together. Rooting through our feet, drawing stability through our legs, and elongating the spine, reaching up. Deep breaths here, 2 more. Pressing the left knee away. And we're going to pivot the back leg into warrior 2, arms come parallel to the floor. Well done. Finding our stability, extending the legs long, gazing over the front outstretched hand. Pressing the shoulders away from the ears, finding our drishti, somewhere to gaze at. It may help us maintain our focus and presence in this moment. Hips are tucked under. The glutes are engaged, and feeling our calm strength running through our legs. Good. Rotating our front hand, palm is facing the sky. On the inhale, we come into reverse warrior. Letting the left hand fall wherever it will naturally, remaining in the side body. Breathing deeply, creating space once again between the ribs. We're not in a back bend. If you're facing, the chest is up to the sky, we want to rotate it back. Right. Checking in with the neck. Can we move our head freely? Two more breaths. Deep breath in. And on the exhale, we come into a side angle. This time working into the opposite side, reaching the arm above the body or over the head. See what the side says is appropriate for you today. Tucking the left glute underneath, pressing the pelvis forward. Maintaining steady breath while creating space in the left side body. Good. On the next inhale, we windmill back to a reverse triangle, this time straightening the front leg. Good. Elongating that line from the right foot all the way through to the right hand. Allowing the left hand to fall where it will. We're staying in the right side body. Checking in with the face, the breath. Making sure our glutes are firmly engaged underneath us. One more breath. Elongating deep breaths in. And on the exhale, we come into a triangle. Allowing the right hand to fall where it will. Perhaps you need a block for support. Reaching towards the shin, the ankle, the floor. Staying in the side body again of the left side. Reaching the arm tall above the body, wrapping it behind the back, or extending it over the head, whichever feels most comfortable for you today. Tucking the left glute underneath, pressing the pelvis forward. Breathing deeply. Easing off if the breath is labored. Again, we're not creating stress. One more breath. Deep breath in and lower the left hand down. Good. Bending the right knee back into our lunge. We're walking our hands into a wide leg forward fold. Toes are pointed forward. We're up on our fingertips. Good. So if stillness is what you need, go ahead and hang out here. Maybe you want to reach for your toes. Alternatively, you're welcome to shift the weight forward and back, maybe even bringing awareness to the ankles, calves, and the hamstrings. Finding whatever works best for you today. Perhaps a small little pulse in order to get into the connective tissue in the back body. We'll be here for 2 more breaths. Good. And bringing our hands onto our hips, bending the knees. We hinge ourselves up to an erect spine. And we're going to shift our weight all the way over to the left leg into our crescent lunge. The left leg is lunged, right leg, we're up on the balls of the right foot. We're in our crescent lunge, finding stability through both legs. And bringing our arms wherever is most comfortable. If you need a reminder to remain tall, you're welcome to reach the arms up. Slight back bend, opening up the abdomen, finding our breath. Two more breaths. Lifting the knee, pressing the right leg back, engaging the quadricep. And we'll flatten and pivot the right foot, bringing our arms parallel to the floor, warrior 2. Finding stability and grounding in both feet. Our weight is evenly distributed between both legs. Strong calm. Go ahead and open both palms facing the sky, lowering the shoulders away from the ears, tucking the glutes underneath us. Once again, finding our breath. And on the next inhale, we'll come into reverse warrior, reaching the left arm long, the right arm comes somewhere to the back of the right leg. Staying in the side body here, creating space on the left side. Breathing in between the ribs, maybe even feeling this between the vertebra of our lower back. Deep breath in. And on the exhale, we come into our side angle. This time staying in the right side body, reaching the arm long, either over the head, behind the back, or above the back. Pressing the left forearm into the thigh muscle, tucking the glutes underneath us. Noting any sensations on this side of the body we didn't feel on the other. Breathing deeply. 2 more breaths. And on the next inhale, we come into our reverse triangle, pressing the left leg straight. Oh, very nice. Listening to the lower back, staying in the side body, allowing the right hand to fall where it will naturally. And again, finding a position for the left hand and arm that is most comfortable for you today. Making sure we can adjust the head, moving it around. We're not holding any tension in the head and neck. Neutral spine. Deep breath in. And we windmill all the way into a triangle. Left arm comes where it will naturally, tucking the right glute underneath us, pressing the pelvis forward. And the right arm reaches up or above the head or behind the back. Calm strength here. Checking in with our breath. One more breath. And we'll go ahead and lower the right arm, bending the left knee. Great. Walking our hands around to the front once again. Wide-legged forward fold, pointing the feet both forward facing. Yay for that. Go ahead and rock forward and back. Or perhaps you want to sway left to right towards Skandhasanas. Whatever helps or feels most comfortable. Or perhaps stillness is what you need at this point in your practice. Doing what works best for you. We'll be here for 2 more breaths. Good. Pressing our hands away so the torso is more parallel to the floor. Go ahead and walk the hands all the way over to the left and around to the left and around and around and around. We're coming into fire logs. Oh, find our glutes to the mat. Keep walking the hands around and around and around and around. Very good. Lowering. Good. Well done. You got it. And allowing the legs to stack however is most comfortable. If that is not comfortable, go ahead and come into an easy seated position. Once again, we're elongating the spine on the inhale, hinging at the hips, and just folding over top of those legs. Allowing our hands to meet the floor for stability and support. Play around with the pose. Perhaps you want to stretch the legs a little bit farther. If that helps you work into the back of the hip, the IT band that runs from the glutes all the way to the knee. Keeping our sit bones as firmly planted as we can, rooting through the mat. And we're just going to be here for a moment. Very good. Exploring whatever sensations there may be. Perhaps you want to rock side to side. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper with each exhalation. Again, we're not forcing anything. Great. On the next inhale, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to untwine ourselves, planting the sides of our feet, and walking around all the way to the other side. Back into fire log. Ooh, isn't that a neat trick? Good job. Stacking the opposite legs on top. Great. And once again, finding somewhat of a comfortable position, comfortably uncomfortable. And when you're ready, go ahead and hinge forward using our hands as support or a block to bring the earth closer to us. Keeping the sit bones firmly planted on the mat. And allowing the head to hang heavy. Releasing a bit of the energy that we've created here today. We'll be happy to know that we will not be coming back on our feet again. We're going to stay low to the ground. We'll hang out here for another couple of breaths. whichever leg is on top, we're going to stack our vertebra back, erect spine, bringing the whatever leg is on top and extending it long. We're in a seated tree position. One leg is in a 4, the other one is extended. The foot is flexed, toes are pointed to the ceiling, sky. We're rotating our torso so that it's facing the extended leg. And again, we'll hinge forward. Once again, you're welcome to find blocks if that helps. Allowing the arms to fall naturally wherever they will. You may feel an opening of the lower back, the hamstring. Feel free to bend the knee, walking the hands forward, or simply allowing the arms to fall towards the mat. And perhaps you want to reach towards the foot if that helps you today. With the inside arm, bringing it up to our head, the ear. On the inhale, we're going to lift the arm, reaching the elbow to the sky. And on the exhale, we'll round back out. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, we round out. Noticing the sensations in our side body and lower back. Deep breaths in here. We'll only do 5. Creating space in the belly. Good. Hinging forward once again over that extended leg, perhaps a little bit deeper this time. But again, there's no expectation, there's no destination. We're not forcing anything. One more breath. And we'll walk our hands in, stacking the vertebrae. Oh, very nice. Gentle, gentle transition to the opposite leg, extending the one long, tucking the other one in. Seated tree, opposite leg. Once again, rotating the body, hinging at the hip, keeping the foot flexed. And reaching towards the knee, the shin, the heel, whichever works best for you. We're not compressing on ourselves. We want to create space for our breath at every stage. Good, and with the hand coming up to the temple or the ear again, opening up on the inhale. And lowering down on the exhale, we'll do 5. Noting any sensations on this side of the body. Being gentle. Good. And once again, maybe a little bit deeper, hinging forward. Breathing the hamstring long, keeping the foot flexed, maybe even reaching towards the foot. Good, one more breath. And let's go ahead and walk our hands back in, stacking the vertebra. And let's lower right back down onto our backs for our final movements and resting pose, lowering one vertebra at a time, shoulders and head, keeping our feet firmly planted about hip width apart. The knees are about 90 degrees. So we're going to come into a hip bridge flow, starting slowly with the hips lifting up towards the sky on the inhale. So peeling the glutes, the hips, and the vertebrae off the mat, driving into the shoulder blades, chin to chest. And on the exhale, we float all the way back down, nice and slow. On your next inhalation, lift off. Finding a flow that suits the rhythm of your breath. And if you're interested, you're welcome to float the arms. As we lower our glutes and our hips back down to the mat, you can float the arms upwards over the head. As we inhale and draw the hips up, we float the arms back to the sides of our bodies. Again, finding a flow that works for you. Connecting the breath to our physical body and our movement. Noticing the dynamic tension in our bodies and the calm strength. And if you want to add in some box breathing today, you are welcome to, perhaps flowing up for 4, pausing for 4, lowering for 4, and again pausing for 4. This is your practice. Do what suits you today. This is our last dynamic move. We'll do 2 more breaths, whatever that is for you. Gently lowering the hips, resetting here. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And drawing our left knee into our chest. Giving it a little hug, we'll extend the right leg long. Taking a few deep breaths here, and then when you're ready, go ahead and rotate the left knee over to the right side of the body, gently into a spinal twist, extending the left arm on the body, using the right hand as a little bit of extra leverage on the left knee if you like, maybe even pulse. And perhaps you can visualize each inhalation dancing around the spine, massaging the spine all the way from tailbone through to the neck and the head. Noticing different muscles in the body start to relax. Bringing our awareness to the breath. And I will slowly bring the left leg back to center. Drawing the right knee into the chest, slowly transitioning, giving it a hug. Extending the left leg long when you're ready. And then slowly bringing the right knee over to the left side of the body, extending the right arm long, gazing over the right Finding a spinal twist that suits your body today. It enables you to relax into the pose. Keeping our shoulder blades planted on the mat. Bringing our awareness back to the breath. Usually using the exhalation to release tension. To have the muscles soften throughout the body. On the next inhale, we'll bring the knee back to center. And extend the right leg long on the mat, coming all the way back into Savasana. Arms can be at the side, palms facing up, allowing the legs to fall open naturally. Taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Taking a moment to reflect on any intention that we may have set at the beginning of our practice. And let's take a moment here to give gratitude for our breath, our hearts that pump oxygen through our bodies, bathing the tissues of our bodies with the energy we need to feel alive and engaged in life. With smiles on our faces, we give thanks for the opportunity to practice as a supportive and loving community. We give thanks to those around us for supporting us to be here today, giving time to our practice and our bodies and minds. Taking our new sense of connectedness and compassion into our communities, letting our light shine through to the people that we come in contact with in the coming days and weeks. Taking as long as you need here in Savasana to remain conscious but restful. And when you're ready, go ahead and bring your awareness back to the sounds and the space around us. Drawing our knees into our chest and slowly curling up. As and when you're ready. Thank you for joining today. I wish you a great continuation. Namaste.